Okay, you guys, before we get into this story, I'm going to let you know that people that's listening, they may be homosexuals, they may be bisexual, they may be straight. People are people. You know, I do believe in the Bible, but I'm not here to bash anyone for their sexual beliefs. Marvin Gaye made public confession about his dad's sexuality, and it left many fans extremely confused. Back in 1982, Marvin revealed these secrets about himself and his dad. He stated, "There have been periods when his hair was very long and curled under, when he seemed quite adamant in showing the world the girlish side of himself. That may have been to further embarrass me. I find the situation all the more difficult because, to tell you the truth, I have the same fascinations with women's clothes. In my case, that has nothing to do with any attraction for men." He goes on to say, "Sexually, men interest me, but seeing myself as a woman is something that intrigues me. It's also something I fear. I indulge myself only at the most discreet, intimate moments. Afterward, I must bear the guilt and shame for weeks. After all, indulgence of the flesh is wicked. No matter what your kick, the hot stuff is lethal. I've never been able to stay away from the hot stuff." Here we see Marvin Gaye has come out the closet. He's confessed that he's sexually attracted to men and that he's most intrigued with wearing women's clothing. He also confessed that he's being hunted here. He said that he's scared, he feared, and he's guilty, and he's ashamed because the flesh is wicked. Shame and guilt hunted Marvin Gaye as a child. Let's check it out. "I wanted to beat the shit out of the guys when they teased me about father," Marvin said. "I wanted to smash their faces and cut their throats, but I was afraid. I suppose I was afraid that I was just like him. I was too much of a woman to fight back. Instead of taking my blows like a man, I ran. My main memories have to do with running, and believe me, I was fast. I love sports, and I always felt that I had great athletic ability. Football, basketball, you name it, but I was scared of the confrontations, so I backed off." I'm sure a lot of you don't know that Marvin Gaye was raised as a Hebrew Israelite. And the reason why I say this is because his father raised him in the movement. They actually followed the Abrahamic law as outlined in the Old Testament. They also believed in the New Testament also as Christ regarding the Pentecostal aspects. One of the teachings was that the people cannot receive salvation unless they speak in tongues. I don't know which group of Israelites this is, but the location was Washington, D.C. Now, the name of the church was the Orthodox Judaism and Fundamental Christianity. Okay? And the reason why I say they were Israelites is because they follow the laws. He was raised as a Jewish/Christian. Okay? He was always religiously conflicted, but he seemed to maintain in his own unique way. Politics were expressed in his songs. What's Going On, where he speaks out against the war in Vietnam, America racism, and espouses the power of love over hate. Marvin Gaye was born and raised in Washington, D.C. He was fatally shot by his father in Los Angeles, California in 1984. So once we have this understanding that he was actually raised as an Israelite, he knew to keep the commandments. And he also seen that his father was struggling, cross-dressing, and deep down within him, he felt like he was the same way. He expressed that these things were wicked, that he was afraid, that he was scared. He used those words precisely. So we don't know what really surrounded his death here. Once we have this understanding, and we know, according to the scriptures, that a homosexual should be put to death, and his father put him to death, and he was an Israelite. Now, I'm not trying to put this off on the Israelite community, but at the same time, we don't know what was going through his dad's head. We know that he knew about the laws. He knew about the Most High. His son knew about it, and they both struggled. And I guess the mixture, they lived two worlds, and you can't have it both according to the scriptures. You can't serve two gods, right? Marvin became the soul of R&B. He became rich and famous. I don't know if his dad became resentful because of that, but his dad was still struggling with his own sin, and his son grew up and he seen what his dad was doing, and it hunted him. He became affected by it. So he kind of moved away from the religion and more to drugs, substance abuse, alcohol. He was depressed because he was ashamed, that he admitted himself that he was ashamed. What I really want to talk about, the conspiracy surrounding homosexuality in the black communities. I have already expressed that I'm not homophobic. We are not here to bash anyone, but we do have the right to speak freely. And I want to express that homosexuality is pushed on the black community. What if homosexuality was a weapon by the government used to depopulate a race of people? What if a whole group of people or race decided to be homosexuals? They would cease to exist as a nation. Think about it. Is it a conspiracy that homosexuality is pushed on the so-called African American, the same people who had to go through the sub-Saharan slave trade with the Arabs, the Atlantic slave trade with the Caucasians, and then segregation and Jim Crow laws over here in Americas?